A scrap killer for cold weathers. Hey, what's up, Cole? Here is a demo for you for the scrap killer that you bought from me. First of all, thank you for buying it. This is one of the 4 Graflex 2.0 kits that I bought and I kind of chopped up and was trying to do some of what I like to call passion projects. So something that is not a commission, that I can just use my imagination on a little bit. And this is one of them, and you picked it up, right? This is installed with a Proffie. It's a 2-button setup. This control box is from Lightsaber company on Etsy. It's a very cool control box for any of these types of builds. All right, so it's a 2-button setup. Your front switch here is power. Your back switch is auxiliary. What else you got? You got a Carl Chen PCB in here for your Neopixel connector. Your blade retention is going to be this knob right here. All right, so that sticks into the blade socket. You can kind of see that right there. So that's your blade retention. One thing I wanted to put on here, but I didn't have in house, was I wanted to put like a little braided pipe or something from this hole over to this hole. It was one of the things I was going to do, and then I realized I didn't have any in house. So I'm leaving these open in case you want to do something like that. It's very easy to do, and I think that it would set it off nicely. You do get a little bit of shine through these 2 holes, so if you wanted to leave it blank, that's up to you as well. Crystal chamber. Now I wanted to do something Starkiller-ish, but I didn't want to do a Starkiller because I'm doing one right now, and I didn't want to do 2 of the same thing. I wanted to try something out that didn't have any chamber rods. So I took this to my mill, and I tried to mill out, you can see it's kind of circular there. I tried to make it nice and even. So I cut that out, got that all filed down and nice. I went through, and the crystal is actually sitting in its own brass holder that I went and machined and put in there to hold it. And I kind of made the brass insert mimic the ribs on the outer part here, if that makes sense, if you can see that there on the sides. Okay, so that's what I did there. Weathered it with some brass black to knock down the shine a little bit. That is a real quartz crystal in there. This is a double pointed quartz. I buy these specifically. They're kind of my favorite to use in all the sabers that I do with a crystal chamber setup, and it shines light very well. All right. This does have an external kill switch right here. This is an idea that I got from our buddy Benji over at Nerf Herder Customs before. I've done it once before. I went ahead and I did it again because I liked it. How to get to your chassis is just want to unscrew the handle. This has a brown leather wrap from Defcon Bird on eBay. This is I think it's a Sundance 2300 brown. This is one of my favorite wraps that he does. I just think it looks really nice, and it's in universe. All right, but when you take the handle off, this is your chassis. So if I can get it to focus there, you got your Proffie board there. It is a snap fit down onto the shelf, so you can lift it up if you want to. No need to, though. You've got your SD card and your micro USB right there. A copy of the config file is on the SD card. Although I will say one thing I didn't put on this copy that's on the SD card is I defined an OLED flip because when I originally made this config, turned it on after programming it, I noticed that the OLED screen was upside down. So one thing I put on the config that's not on this one is define OLED flip 180. So if you need me to help you define that, I can. Just let me know. I can type that out for you so you know what it looks like. All right, but everything else is the same. You've got a 10 pixel accent strip right here. So I'll show you how that lights up. You have a 9 pixel accent just right underneath the crystal. You got your OLED over here. A fully enclosed Smuggler's Outpost 28 millimeter. This is the Elite version. This only has one sound font on it, so it's a sound font that Jesse made me. It has 7 blade styles. So if you wanted to simplify this, you could. If you ever changed your config, you could knock this down to 3 blade styles. You'd have your first one, your blade. Your second one would be your crystal chamber. And then your third one would be your strip, your 10 pixel strip right here. But how I have it now is the first blade style is your blade. The next 3 blade styles is the crystal chamber. I broke this up into sub blades, 3 LEDs each for a total of 9. And then the next 3 sub blades is this 10 pixel strip. And I broke this up into the first one is a 4 pixel blade. The second one is a 2 pixel blade. And the third and final one is a 4 pixel blade. So a total of 10. All right. And then you can see your kill switch right here. I do this a little bit differently than Benji. I make my own separate insert for my kill switch. I haven't had very much luck modeling it into my chassis. It becomes a pain for me, so I find it easier to model a separate holder for the kill switch, do all my wiring out here, and then I press fit it all in when I'm done, and it seems to work out good. One thing I do one thing I do to this, and you may be able to see it right now, but I take that switch and I cut an angle in it. I cut a 45-degree angle in it so it clears the handle when you turn it on and off. All right. So after all that talking, let's throw a battery in this. Of course, we're not going to see anything until we turn the power on. All right. And that being from right here, all of your LEDs are on a timer, so they'll time out at the same time if you don't turn this on right away. All right. So you got your OLED screen right there, going to your battery meter. If you hit auxiliary on this particular one, I do have it saying apologize because that's the name of the sound font. All right. This is what I've got this strip doing when the saber is off. And then this is what I've got your crystal chamber doing when the saber is off. All right, until we turn it on. So you got that little bit of shine through there I told you about. And also right there, right? This OLED animation. Or if we hit blade lock up, there we go. You'll see it here and also here. There is no chassis retention. I made this piece that fits into the threaded area. I made it so tight that it's an extremely tight press fit. You will have a hard time getting that out of there, but there's no glue or grub screws used. That's how I like to do it on these things, okay? Let's go ahead and we'll put the handle on, but before we do that, we'll go ahead and we'll turn it off. All right, so we'll come over here and flip the switch. Cuts everything. Come over here and put our handle on. Slides right on. Now when it's nice and tight, you can come over here with your fingernail and you can just flip it. Let's put a blade in. This does take a 7/8 inch blade, which is my favorite. So they just feel nice and light. All right, I'll put that in. It may not show very well on camera. I did go through and put quite a bit of heat stain on this, on the upper portion anyway. So hopefully you like how that came out. This particular blade is a smoke blade, but I have it in red. I don't know if you're able to see that animation. It can sometimes be hard to pick up on camera. You've got 2 different ways to get blade lock up. All right, you can hold down the auxiliary button and hit the saber, or you can just double tap the auxiliary button and hold it down. Like this. And I put twist off on here. Depending on what kind of saber it is, one might be easier to do than the other. So I typically will hold the auxiliary button down and hit the saber. On this one, it's a little bit easier to do a double tap. Get a good look at your crystal chamber. Very solid. It was very fun to make. Just like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the blade out. Like that, and we'll tighten this back up. And of course, I'll show you that the kill switch works from here. Now, turning this on is flipping the kill switch up. All right, so it's very easy to come over here and turn it off. Just take your finger and flip it down just like that, and it turns it off. All right, and then we'll take the battery out like this. You shouldn't have any problems coming over here from the positive side and popping it out with your finger. All right, and that is basically your Scrapkiller. So let me know if you have any questions. And again, thank you for buying this from me. I will make sure that I get this out in the mail to you by tomorrow. Thanks, man.